Hello, Six community. I am making the video of answering the 7 questions. First is love of working with young people. That's kind of how I got involved in education. I was a science major, graduated from college, and thought, and had an opportunity to teach for a year. And I thought, I'll do this until I get a real job. And then I ended up loving it. I ended up coaching, teaching. I have quite a bit more to say about this, but um, I got young people to see science for the first time. It really opened their eyes, and it was one of those things that I would not have expected. And I'm also shocked of how many people dislike teenagers and preteens. So that the idea of getting them to understand science, I went into a school and that had never happened to the kids before. So it was really kind of a shock to me. And that was 30 years ago, and I still like it. I and the second one is collaboration. My feeling on collaboration is mirrored is influenced by Napoleon Hill. He uses the good analogy: a series of batteries wired together has so much more power than one battery. He uses the analogy of the Mastermind Alliance when two or more people are focused on a goal. He probably got that from the Bible, where two or more people say something, it'll come to pass. But that if people get a goal and they agree on it and they work together, it's almost magical what can be accomplished. And this is, if you are familiar with Napoleon Hill, I'm a big fan of his, and that was an idea of collaboration. The other thing is, none of us knows as much as all of us, and you'll always get better results from collaboration. A third thing, I'm going to go fast. Even if you're a superstar, suppose you're twice as good as everyone else, which no one is, but suppose you're twice as good as everyone else and you're working and you're getting 200% done. Well, if you are in a group of 10 people and each of those does one person's work, you're at 1,000%. So a superstar working by himself is 1/5 as efficient as that group. Another thing, even Sugar Ray Robinson said, I will watch some 3-round fighters because you never know when they're going to do something that you don't expect. So those are all examples of collaboration, my feelings towards it, and why it's so vital and why I value it and do it. The next one is lifelong learner. Um, that's me to a T. There's no one that's more of a lifelong learner. One of my personal goals, I appreciate how much a person learns, say from 10 to 15, or from 5 to 10. I want to learn that much from 25 to 30, from 35 to 40, to 45 to 50. Those incredible growth years. There's no reason that can't be done. Especially now. As I mentioned earlier, Napoleon Hill. I probably have $1,000 in 1980s dollars in cassettes that I put in my car and listened to as I was driving around. If I had an hour commute, I learned for an hour. Today, I'm on Khan Academy. I've probably got a couple million points just studying various topics on the Fermi labs. I listen to MIT lectures. I probably have learned as much every 4 years. I learn as much as I did 4 years in college, probably more because I have better lectures and it's YouTube and those things. So lifelong learning is what I'm all about. The next one is flexibility in courses. Flexibility is absolutely necessary, I feel, because, and this was from Tony Robbins, he probably explained it as good as anyone. A plane going from LA to Hawaii is off course 90% of the time. It's constantly making course adjustments. Flexibility is an incredibly important skill. I know people that are good and smart, but they are as flexible. I say this: he's as flexible as a pane of glass. Without flexibility, when the unexpected happens, you break. And the unexpected always happens. There's never a case where you have a plan. You can have the greatest plan in the world. You cannot plan for every contingency. No battle plan survives first contact with the enemy. Everyone knows this. Whether you're a general, a football coach, a CEO of a company, or whatever, you will always have to be flexible, do constant course changes, have a destination of where you're going, have a plan to get there, But if half of it goes the way you expect it, that's pretty amazing. That's the value of that. The next one is a sense of humor. Um, that's kind of odd and that's a good question actually, um, because a sense of humor means you're humble. You don't take yourself that important. You're not that important, and it also feeds onto the previous one of being flexible. Being a lifelong learner means you're humble enough to learn. Being a collaborator does. But having a sense of humor, Voltaire said, if you want to know who rules you, see who you can't make fun of, who you can't be ridiculed. That's probably one of the most important questions for a leadership position. You have to have a good sense of humor because you can't take yourself all that seriously. You have to realize you are small, insignificant, biodegradable. You are a speck in the universe. So get your proportionality correct. You can be, you can have some humor. That's a lack of humor is that's actually a real good question, because a lack of humor is a character flaw that I would not want any leader to have. They take themselves too seriously, they think they're too important, and they're too isolated and separated from the group. And also, it feeds into the previous question, is as things fall apart, which they always do, and you have to pick up the pieces, a sense of humor helps that. There's many times when your best plans fall apart and you can either cry or laugh. That's it. And you better have the right attitude. And a person with that tends to quit looking for blame in others and looking for the problem, and sees that, okay. And it could be a farmer that, okay, it's raining. I'm on my grandfather at one time, it rained for 2 weeks. He didn't get to plow. He could have cried, or he could have laughed about it. So that's very important. And the last one is, technology. That's probably my weakest area. I don't program, or I do a little bit of, I know what code is. I'm not a good code writer, robotics. If my computer breaks, I'll do a little bit, but I'll take it to somebody. I use computers. I do Google Drives and spreadsheets, and I, as an athletic director, I use the shared drive and put what's in the cloud. And I've never had problems with the basic things. I've worked in many public school systems, and I've had no problems using their computers to upload grades or communicate with people and those type of things. But I'm not a programmer, or my technology on computers on that. I have looked at how to write code, but I'm not very good at it. I can't do it at all, really. The last one is sustainable practices. That's why I'm doing a video. I shave with a double-edged razor because I'm not going to use the one with a big plastic handle. I teach 15 science main lessons. I teach from astronomy to zoology. In my botany course, I have the kids make Hawaii sustainable. They have to calculate how many people, how many calories, how many grams of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats they need, and what grows, where's our arable land. And there's amazing things that come out. I remember rice, you can get about 4 tons per hectare, and corn, which is GMO corn with water, is about 5 tons. Wheat's about 3 tons. Potatoes are about 17 tons. Taro, you can get about 14 tons, but you need a lot of water. There's some dry taro, but then you also need the heat to prepare to eat. And where's that? And I mean self-sustainable things like that. That's my botany class. In my thermodynamics, I had them try to make Hawaii energy independent. And they had to calculate all of our kilowatt hours and how we generate it with wind. People do not understand. I hope you're really serious about sustainability, because right now America as a country burns over 1 trillion. That's a T. That's 9 zeros tons of coal. That's over 3 tons per man, woman, and child. That doesn't even produce half our electricity. The rest is the largest next is natural gas. So it's not an exaggeration to say that the energy in 10 tons of coal America uses just for the basic things, and that's not even counting transportation. I have my kids calculate how many liters of carbon dioxide is done with, when you burn a gallon of gas. And I take on the board the formula for gasoline, and then we added with oxygen, how much CO2 and water vapor is produced. I do that in all 15 of my science classes, and that's been done. I'm the only one that recycles here in that I put 3 bins out. I got this out of the trash can because I have trouble with kids walking another 20 steps to not put in the trash, put in the recycle bin, and I take those to the recycling in my own minivan, take the money, put it in the science club. I am trying to get that. That's something I do all the time. I am very serious about that, and I didn't really realize that was a mission of Seeks. So I'd like to, I'm pretty serious about that in a huge area. I put a chalk line down the middle of my school for my evolutionary biology block. It's 46 meters. Every centimeter is 1,000,000 years, so that's 4.6 million years. We plot every major extinction, what the temperature of the Earth is, what the CO2 levels were at that time, whether there were polar ice caps, what caused those extinctions. I mean, I'd like to talk about this because I'm serious about sustainability, and I very rarely found anyone else who is. Thank you very much. Sorry this went over.